Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rapatopolis Show. Today, I want to talk about choreographing and parkour routes, and specifically how long and how many attempts it takes for me to get one of these things. I've gotten a few questions from people wondering how long it takes, how many attempts it takes, a little bit about the process. So I thought of a fun way to talk about it and explain it, and just talk about choreographing in general a little bit as we go, I suppose. So this particular run that we're looking at, it's not the greatest one I've ever done. It's not the most advanced, but it's pretty good. I think there's some good stuff in it, and it's definitely worth posting. But when a run is not super insane, I'm not as focused on perfection. I've got a family, I got a baby at home, I have a full-time job, I'm busy. I don't have 8 hours a day to meticulously route every single tiny detail, especially if the finished product is not going to be that insane. And sometimes they're just not. Like, sometimes you're in an area where there's just not as much stuff to do. Like my last choreographed parkour video, I spent way longer on that one because I wanted to get it as perfect as I could, because I think that it deserved perfection. This one, not quite as impressive. Even if it was perfect, it's still going to be like an 8 out of 10. That last one was a 10 out of 10. So I was like, I gotta make sure I get it right. If you haven't seen the video I'm talking about, please go check it out. I'm really proud of that one. I keep promoting it shamelessly. But this is my YouTube channel. I can promote my own stuff here, all right? This is a safe space for me. Not for you, but for me, I'm safe. I should quickly mention, the way these routes typically develop for me is I'll just be parkouring around and I'll find like a series of objects, and I'll either do something cool on them or I see potential for something cool to be done on them, and I'll figure out what the thing is, and then I say, okay, cool. Now how do I get to this place and where do I go from here? And that's just kind of how they develop. And then I'll find the next coolest thing I can do and say, okay, now what? And then the next coolest thing, and I just keep going until I find a nice soft place to land. If I find something cool that leads me somewhere where there's not much to do, I usually ask myself the question, is the thing that brought me to this place cool enough to leave me stranded in an area where I can't really do anything? Or is it worth it to say, maybe I'll not do this? Like, maybe, jumping here and grabbing this and swinging on this is going to take me over here where I can't do anything, weighing out if it's worth it to be over there. You know what I mean? Is this move cool enough to justify stranding me, on a post in the middle of nowhere? I'm like rambling and getting sidetracked, but these are the questions that people want to know. So I guess I'm just going to keep rambling here for a minute. Let's touch base on the delicate balance between efficiency and flashiness. It's a hard line to walk. I personally am willing to sacrifice a little bit of efficiency in the name of style. I don't mind maybe taking an extra couple seconds to do something that if I had just gone for the more straightforward approach could have done faster. I'm usually willing to sacrifice that second in order to do something cool. And some people have a problem with that, and to that I say, you just don't get it, man. You don't get it. You don't love the game like I love the game. And by the game, I don't mean the video game. I mean the game. The game of, I don't know, art. The bottom line for me is Assassin's Creed is one of the only games that gives you this level of freedom to traverse vertically in any way that you see fit. And it gives you, at least the older games give you, a great set of tools and a bunch of cool shit to jump on top of and swing on and climb. I don't understand why not use them to do cool stuff. This game, AC2's been out for, 13 years, 14 years, something like that. I'm not interested in just doing the most straightforward and boring and efficient approach all the time. I'm trying to make something that looks cool. And that's just me. If you don't like it, sorry. Okay, I think that's everything that I want to cover for now. I'm probably forgetting a bunch of stuff, and I may come back and add more things. But for now, I suppose that will do. And yeah, so we're going to get into this route here. Surprise, surprise, we're in Venice again, baby. It's a great place for climbing. What can I say? This route in particular takes place up here in the northwest quadrant of the map, or I guess it's more west than north, but, over here. And It's going to start right over here. There's this little parkour starter right here, and that's the beginning of this route. You probably won't see too much of that in this video because most of the mistakes that I'm going to showcase happen after that. But this little alleyway here and all this stuff up above, you're going to see plenty of that, I promise. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how many attempts it takes to put together a route like this, at least in a satisfying enough way that I feel comfortable posting it, and I'm happy with it. So at this point, I have already routed out where I'm gonna go, and usually that's subject to change. Like after I figure out where I'm going and what I'm doing, there will be small changes. So see, we're already on attempt 2 here, and as you see in the bottom left corner, I've put on a convenient counter for you, so you can see exactly how many times I messed this up. Most of the mistakes you see are going to take place in the very first like 30 seconds of this run. I like to put like the most coolest and most complex thing early if I can, because that's when most people are watching. And if you see something cool early on, maybe you'll keep watching. That's just a little marketing tip for you. So all of this stuff right here is in the first just a little bit, because it's the hardest part, because it's the coolest part, because I want the most people to see it. It's simple. Some of the stuff you're seeing here probably doesn't make sense, but once you see the finished product here, hopefully the context of that will string everything together. Another thing that I've noticed that's weird is like I'll have a certain part of the route like nailed down, like perfect, I get it every time, and then one weird mistake will happen that's never happened before, and then that same mistake keeps happening. Like, you know, I'll fall off of something in a weird place, and I'll be like, huh, that's weird, I've done this 100 times. Like this move in particular right here, where I go from the drop, grab, and then he'll tackle someone, and I'm not sure exactly why it started happening, but it did, and then it just kept happening. It has, I'm assuming, something to do with grabbing that ledge there and then jumping off immediately afterwards. It's like there's like overlap on the grab, and then it just transfers to tackle. I don't know. You gotta allow yourself to kill a civilian every once in a while. If you keep messing up a route, just kill somebody. It helps. That's a mental health tip. Venice, famous for accidentally jumping into the water a million times. Surprisingly, I probably only fell into the water, I don't know, on maybe 6 of these attempts total. This little sequence right here that you see is, that's kind of the money shot, so to speak. This one right here, the drop, grab, and then eject to this post, and then the wall run to eject. See, I messed it up there, and then grab, and then that's the central kind of moment of this run. You know, when I said earlier I like to find one thing that's really cool and then build around that, this is that. So it's crucial to get it right, and then I think you'll see in the end when this whole thing comes together that it's pretty cool. I'm not sure if it's more painful butchering all these attempts or if it's more painful to rewatch every single one of them. Every accidental tackle, every dive into the stupid water. It's a miserable time, but I do it for you because I love you. You gotta check out this next one. I'm gonna make it out of the starting area on the next one. Look at that. Only just to hang off of that and fail again. But that's okay. It's all part of the process. See? That's part of the fun. Just launching yourself in random directions after you ruin a route. That's the fun part. I don't know what the hell is going on here. This is just a mess. Oh my lord. He's lost it. Also, I forgot to mention that my money went up at some point. I took a little break and returned to the villa to cash some checks, you know what I mean? Which brings me up to what? 2.204 million. Pretty good. I don't think I could spend all that if I tried. Wrong place, wrong time, buddy. I'm sorry it had to be you, but that's just the way the universe works. I think this one might die too. Oh, it's not looking good. Yep, just as I suspected. 3 in a row. As you can tell, I was getting frustrated at this point. 41 attempts in. I mean, can you really blame me? Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I had an idea for a video where I just throw all my money, like 10 at a time. You know, you can throw the gold or whatever. If I just threw all my money until I was out, and I think I did the math and it would take like, it was like hundreds of hours, so probably won't be doing that one. So this is my 46th attempt here, and this is the first one that I finished to a degree that was like postable, I would say. And then I went back and I did it again afterwards, and that's the one that I ended up using. I actually like the ending of this one better, but overall the other one had like less little tiny mistakes in it. There's a couple of missteps in this one. So I went back and did it one more time after this to see if I could get it better, and I did. And that's the one that I ended up using. So right after I finished this, I closed the game and restarted it to reset these courtesans so they'd be back, because I like buying them at the end. That's a very pimp move, literally. So I reset the game, and then my very next take is the final one. So at this point, I'm going to add 10 attempts to the counter. There's a number of attempts that I didn't record or just didn't count because they were too short and not worth including in this video. So I'm going to add 10. I think that's fair. So that makes lucky number 57 the winner for the final product of this run. So here we are, number 57 in all its glory. Please enjoy. The very first section here is pretty much perfect, which is what I like. I want the beginning to be obviously as good as it can be. That's the part that most people are going to see, other than that jump right there. Which, I mean, it's nothing really, but this part right here is good, which is the most important to me out of this whole run. So I'm glad that I was able to nail that, and I nailed it a number of times, but the annoying thing is, like, you can nail it 100 times, but you still have to put, like, there's still 3 minutes of parkour after that that has to go smoothly in order for it to be usable. So that's kind of a pain in the ass, but that's the game. That's what it's all about. This grab and drop and grab here is a little bit tricky. I like to grab it a little bit lower, and that's annoying too, that little like jump shift. But these are like the small kind of mistakes that I'm talking about. If this was like a crazy run that I was super excited about, I would probably redo that until I got it perfect. But in a run like this that's not that crazy, I'm okay with settling for a couple of little missteps like that. And a lot of them aren't even really missteps. It's more just like the game being weird, and there's nothing I can really do about that. So if you saw my last run where I ran really wide around these guards, that was smart. This one I got pushed, and I just decided in the moment that I was going to try to take them out in a cool way, and it kind of worked. It wasn't the sickest little, you know, combo kill portion here, but I was able to kill them all without taking any hits or anything, and then kind of continue on my way afterwards. So I was satisfied with that, I guess. You know, it could have been cooler, and I'm lucky that that guy didn't throw me off. I bumped into him, but like I was already jumping, so he moved and I didn't in that collision. And then that's annoying, and then that's not exactly how I wanted it to play out. But if I didn't tell you that, you probably wouldn't know it. So if this wasn't a behind the scenes type of video, you would be none the wiser, would you? And that's it. So like I said, it's not the craziest, most intense parkour run in the world, but I think it's pretty good, and I hope that you enjoyed listening to me ramble for, holy shit, 14 minutes. I'm glad that I'm like old enough now that I'm like self-aware of what I'm doing on the internet, and I'm not like, if I was doing this when I was 13, I'm so glad that I didn't. Well, I did. I have a YouTube video from when I was like 13, and it's still on my channel, and this is not permission to go look at it. Don't go watch it. Don't just forget I said anything. Anyways, yeah, I gotta go. I'm sitting in my car in the freezing cold, recording this because this is my office. It's the driver's seat of a Honda CR-V. Goodbye.